is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium? This is Swank, your host for the K-Gun Report. It's Tuesday night, it's 8 p.m., and we're here to bring you all the latest and greatest in Bills news with a very special guest, Mr. Mark Maddox. We can't wait to get his take on the schedule, as well as some of the free agents that we've picked up here. And you know what? We're going to give away that Steve Tasker 8x10 tonight, roll the Wheel of Destiny. So let's shoot this intro out and we'll get right to it. And here we are, and here it is. Another Tuesday for the K-Gun, Season 4, Episode 10, if you can believe it, everybody. Glad to have you here tonight. Right over here next to me, my main man, Mr. Scott Reed. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Buffalo Bills Mafia? Glad to be here talking about our schedule release. Interesting schedule. I think there's some benefits, not so many benefits, but it'd be fun to talk about. Can't wait to get into it.
Oh, absolutely. And right below him, the guy that looks exactly like him, but has just a little different personality, my buddy Jerry. What's up, Jared?
Not much. I'm glad to be back. I missed last week because of little baseball. I think was it baseball or someone sick? It's one or the other. Every other week, it seems like it's
I
something
can't
else.
keep track for you.
Representing the FLX Mafia between Seneca Lake and Cuca Lake. What's going on, Buffalo Bills fans?
Hell yeah. And then right below me, the reason that you guys tune in, Mr. Mark Maddox, our friend. How's it going, Mark?
It's going pretty good, but I don't think I'm the reason they tune in.
It's the reason I tune in.
It's the only reason I got on today.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all this schedule stuff and some of the free agent. But last week on the show, if you commented and tuned in, we are giving away this Steve Tasker signed 8x10 by Put Steve Tasker in the Hall of Fame on the tweets. So we're going to roll that Wheel of Destiny. If you commented during the live show, you are on this wheel. And I'm always so stoked when we're giving stuff away. So Jerry actually won this and put it up. So it's like second hand from Put Steve Tasker in the Hall of Fame. But we appreciate it all. And here we go.
Yeah, spin that wheel.
You're spinning. She's spinning.
You're also going to get a couple koozies from them.
Some stickers.
And some stickers from us.
You know who you're sending that to? Mr. Alberto Rivera Jr. Berto, long time. Awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah, he tuned in last week. I hadn't seen him in a while. It was sweet.
Right. I'm sure he's won something from us before, but Alberto, go ahead and private message us your address. We'll get that shipped out tomorrow if we get it soon enough. Congratulations.
Hell yeah,
That's so awesome. Congrats, Alberto.
Man.
I mean, we haven't seen his name in a while, and it was great to see it appear on there last week. And then, bam, he wins just like that, just
like
for showing
that.
up and making a comment.
It can happen like that. In the comments, we got Mr. Patrick Hughes. What's up, Patrick? We got Lonnie. I win everything on this live stream except for that Steve Tasker 8x10 cook. What's up, Lonnie? We got Josh Williams. What's up, buddy? Our main content creator, Mr. Rob Mullen. What is up?
What's up, everyone?
We got Doug, Mike V, Ken O'Daniel. What's up, buddy? Josh Cook. The lovely, amazingly beautiful Ellen Lartz. What's up, Ellen? We got Mario. The Johns are here. What's up, John Johns? Paul Kirkdorfer.
There you go.
We got Robert Badette. We got Dr. Bruce. Oh man.
Sounds like
all of 'em.
everyone's here.
Yeah. John says Wheel of Death. Sorry, man. That's the way it goes. Spartan calls it the same thing. But we'll do more. Don't worry. So getting right into this, we had a couple of free agent pickups over the last couple days. We got Shane Ray, who's a defensive end and had like this really super bright future. And then I don't know, Scott and I were talking about this, and Mark, maybe you can weigh in on this too. I heard it was his wrist. He got injured, and that's
what I said wasn't true. Swank.
Oh, okay, cool. So I heard he had a wrist trouble injury, and he never was able to like come back from that. Do you know anything about Shane Ray?
No, not the only thing, is like what I read about, supposedly being a top 10 draft pick and then getting into some trouble and all of that stuff. And I think that kind of follows you along in the league. Once you get a mark on your file, it kind of stays with you, pretty much throughout your career, because every team look at it, because today you have to be, teams have to be responsible. Like look at the Matt Ariza, the punter, and comes out supposedly now he wasn't even there,
crazy.
And so, but his career is done, what's the odds of him getting picked up? Because then what's going to come out, what could come out. And so with Shane, the thing that is kind of, I didn't hear anything about injuries or anything like that, but it's like, you go from the NFL to the CFL, and usually that jump is from the CFL back to, or from the CFL to the NFL, not from the NFL to the CFL back to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the 1 year where he was on an off season with Baltimore, was it?
Yep.
Or okay, so being there for the off season, there had to be something. There's something going on, that hopefully it's fixed and it's remedied right now. And I think maybe one of the main reasons that he might be with Buffalo is because of Von Miller in a relationship when he was at Denver.
Yeah, that's a great point. Great take. I mean, anybody who's had contact with Von, who Von's been able to mentor or get a little bit more than anybody else out of, like, I love it. Bring him here. It seems like a no risk kind of pickup. Jerry, you got anything to add to this, buddy?
Yeah, like Mark said, he was a potential first rounder. He did go 23rd in the first round. One of the things that stood out to me as I was looking at his stat line in his early career is in 2016, it looked like the year he was starting to take off. I'll just read quick. He had 48 tackles, 8 sacks, a forced fumble, a touchdown, and 2 fumble recoveries in 2016. So his career was starting to take off. And then the next season, he only played in 8 or 9 games, and then following was 1 or 2, and then it just went downhill from there. So, Mark always says it in shows prior to this, it's all about coaching. So let's see him come to this Buffalo Bills organization and see what these coaches can do for him.
Absolutely. I mean, I think somebody who's got a little bit of injury, who's maybe stumbled throughout, what better place to go than Buffalo with a healthy rotation and Von Miller in your ear constantly, and then Sean McDermott chirping in your ear the whole season to get the best out of you can, right? Scott, you got anything to add, buddy?
He's got an uphill climb ahead of him, but Buffalo has a pretty good depth at defensive end, so he'll be fighting for that last position potentially. But again, like Mark said, probably a Von Miller bring in. I hope for the best for this guy. He may be coming in with a chip on his shoulder, and anything to make this team better.
Yep.
I like it. Rob Mullen says Denver was in a downward spiral post Manning era, new coaches, new defensive system, et cetera, et cetera. That could definitely contribute to somebody getting slipped through the cracks. Dr. Bruce says nice mug, Scott. I saw you did like the product placement sip. That was really nice with our logo on it. Yeah.
You can actually find this on www.247buffpandemonium.com. Go to the shop. We got shirts, we've got mugs, we've got tote bags, onesies, everything. We even got FLX Mafia stuff, kid sizes, youth, all that good stuff. So hit us up. And while you're there, read a couple of the blogs that Mullen is writing, as well as Ryan Thomas.
Okay, I got a question for you. Do they even put www anymore? Everything is HTTP.
I write in www and it takes me there.
Scott just goes to Google and writes our name in, and then it pops up, and he's happy.
Yep. When I'm feeling down, I'll just type it in. Jarrod, it is custom made. There you go.
Hey, there you go. Oh yeah.
Well, this is the 15-ounce coffee mug, and it holds more than just coffee. I'll just leave it at that. So it's working wonders.
Pepto Bismol.
There you go.
Let's see. Paul Rossi says, "Let's go Buffalo." What's up, Paul? How are you, buddy? Anyone going to the game in DC versus the Commanders? I think that's for you guys in the comments. I am not going to DC this year. I'm hoping to get to maybe 2 games, but DC is not going to be one of them, unfortunately. Let's see.
Mark, do you have any on your board that you're going to come and watch? Or closer to home, somewhere out there?
No, I know. I think Bob and I think we're going to do the trip to LA again with the fan experience.
Oh, cool.
So I think we're going to do that. Almost positive. And other than that, I really want to. The goal is to hit just a bunch of the Bills backers, like we did a couple. We do the fundraisers and stuff like that, but just getting to those backer locations and watching a game with true fans, it's amazing. With Bills backers, it's absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
And so I've been hoarding or collecting a stash of you remember the custom frame jersey that I gave away? I have that one of Thurman.
Yep.
I've been hoarding some of those. I think I'm up to probably 15 or 16 between like Von Miller, Jim Kelly, Dawson Knox, some of Thurman, Diggs. So
nice.
We got some good stuff, and I want to try to get to places and give those away, and just meet the people, because it's just so fulfilling. It fills you up with just that camaraderie, and so just getting there and stuff like that, it just really lets you know how much the fans truly appreciate that team, from the past to the current team now.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, for us, the Rager was like that perfect example, and you're constantly doing stuff for the fans, man, and you're so accessible like that, and it's such a breath of fresh air. It's so great. I love it that you enjoy doing that, and yeah, it's awesome. There's no other fan base like them, man. Nowhere.
Nope.
I like going to the Bills games because of the atmosphere. Everybody around you cheering, the camaraderie and all that stuff, and sometimes being and watching the game, it's hard to do because of everything going around. You try to pay attention, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. But if you get to that Bills backers bar, that's all. You got the big TVs you can watch, and you have that same atmosphere right there, all joined in one area. And yeah, I think that's a great idea, Mark. That sounds like an awesome idea.
Yeah, and you're talking about going to a Bills game, and I can't explain it, but I'm going to tell you right now, when I got back for, I think it was my first time in many years, back in 2018, when they did the 25th year for the comeback game, was it? Yeah. Or the third, whatever year it was, the silver helmet they gave us. But when they did that, and they took us from the hotel to the stadium in the bus, just driving down the street, getting to the stadium gave me goosebumps. And I mean, because you could just feel the energy. You see all the people everywhere you look. There was nothing but Bills gear, Zumba pants, and just all over the place. And I was just like, it gave me goosebumps, because that energy was so overwhelming that I am so used to going to a game here in Arizona. When I go to the games, I see Sanford. If I can guarantee you, when I go to a Cardinals game, I will see not only the Cardinals team, but I will see the team that we're playing. And I can guarantee you probably 2 or 3 other team jerseys in the stadium of different teams. And, and I used to be like, man, that sucks. But then it hit me as like, but guess what? They're here supporting football. They're
Yeah.
supporting these teams and, more power. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, fans of football, man. I mean, I think that's the way the London games were perceived for a long time, right? Because you'd see like the Jags would be the home team, but for those early years, it was just like scattered with every color jersey you can imagine when the cameras would pan to the crowd. And people felt differently about it, but really like when you're trying to break into a new continent and country with the NFL, you just want people there that love the sport for sure. And
Love the sport.
yeah.
Yep.
Everybody was there to watch a game, and that's what was exciting. So I don't know. That's cool. I like that take. Let's see. We got Berto Rivera. Hey, Berto, you won the Steve Tasker 8x10, man. Congratulations. 2 weeks in a row. It's paying dividends for you, brother.
Congrats, man.
Patrick Hughes is floating the Orlando Bills backer. It's breaking in a new location this year, and he wants you to come down there, Mark. Let's see.
Thank you.
Mark it on your calendar.
Mark it on your calendar. Yeah. All right. So we had another free agent pickup, and it was a linebacker, coincidentally enough, from the Los Angeles Rams, Mr. Trevin Howard. Did I do it right?
Traven Howard. Yep.
Trevin
Yep.
Howard. Sweet.
Just like Travin. Like Travis.
Oh,
with
okay.
an N.
Yeah. Okay. Travin. All right. Travin Howard, outside linebacker from the Los Angeles Rams. I think we have somebody on this panel that knows a little bit about playing linebacker. So, Mr. Mark Maddox, what do you got to say?
You know what? I haven't seen that much on him, and I didn't get a chance to research him other than his fourth year in the league and being on the practice squad and coming up and stuff like that. But those guys that they keep them around for a reason. Okay, you don't stay in the league 4 years without a reason. They see something in you somehow, some way, and and to get picked up by the Bills, they have to see something. So, the linebackers is going to be tough, especially with Tremaine leaving. There's a void there. There's an open. And are you going to take some of these guys who are outside linebackers and try to make them an inside linebacker? In some ways, it's kind of hard, but the way we play, depending on if they switch it up, anything, how much it gets switched up, it's going to be one of the most competitive positions, I feel, this year, which I always say that because I'm a linebacker.
It is. The room's getting crowded. There's a lot of people that have been there for a couple years now that really haven't gotten a chance to even show 100% what they got because you got Milano and you had Edmonds back there for so long. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. Scott, what do you got on him?
I had him as a rookie playing in all 16 games. So he's a guy that has, my big thing is experience. Anytime you can get on-field experience is the best way to grow. And other than last year, he played one game. I think he got hurt. And I do believe that this is another Von Miller bring in. Maybe he saw what he liked at linebacker, knew the Bills were desperate for an inside linebacker. Because I also did read that he plays better at 6'1", 219 pounds, better as an inside linebacker rather than the off-ball linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see. But I do think it's a Von Miller bring in. And this guy obviously had the potential because he's started a bunch of games.
I like it. Anybody that's good on Von's list is good on my list. That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, you got anything to add, buddy?
Just that this individual was a tackling machine at TCU. He led TCU in tacklings for 3 consecutive years. He knows how to put his hat on the ball. And welcome to Buffalo. Let's see what they can do with this guy. And they're going to have to compete. Mark's right. It's the toughest room in on the team right now. Not only because it's a linebacker, but all linebackers have this, mentality. They get the ball. They got to be mean. They got to be smart, all that at the same time. So a group of individuals coming together with all that mentality, it's going to be competitive. And I can't wait to see what this training camp and all this stuff brings forth.
Yeah.
Mark, I got one question for you. We're on May 15th. If you were to pick one linebacker right now to be the starting middle linebacker day one, who is it?
Based on just from the past years, it would be AJ Klein right now. It's his spot. It's his spot to lose.
Okay.
And And I mean, it's going to be okay. It's going to be between him and Terrell Dotson. It's going to be between those two. And the reason that I say that those two, to me, is his spot, but they let him go and they brought him back. So they felt that they obviously could get along without him and maybe had plans for the younger guys, because they will do that if they don't see things kind of like panning out. But when you get in a situation where, you know, he ended up coming back last year during the season, it's one of those things like, now, do we really trust the people that are behind, you know, who were behind Tremaine at that point in time, you know, or do we bring him back for more depth, or what do we do, you know? So, but for me right now, I think it's between him and Terrell. But AJ Klein, in my mind, has the upper hand because from what I've seen and watching him, he's played really well against a run. He's not as great in pass, you know, where he doesn't cover the field in pass like Tremaine did, but that speed was unbelievable. But now, see, Terrell can give you more field coverage than AJ Klein. So those two that's going to be the fight right there, in my opinion. And it depends. What are they going to run? Are they going to run that 4-2-5? If they're going to run that 4-2-5, then that Mike linebacker, they're either going to have to, if they play with Klein, they're going to have to play more of a zone, kind of more zone pressure, because they don't want to get him out in space.
Yeah. And
so, you know, it changes up your defense, where if you got Terrell in there who can cover a little bit better in space, you know, it gives you more options. So it just depends on what they're trying to do.
Very good. And when McDermott calling the plays, who knows what kind of defense they're going to have this year? But I think you hit it spot on. AJ Klein is more the instinctual run stopper.
Oh,
we nicknamed him Caveman Klein. See ball, get ball. And
Yes,
I agree. Dotson's better at pass coverage. So it will be definitely interesting. A nice battle for preseason for sure.
Yeah. And then, not to cut you off, but then, you know, also the Williams pickup, you know, he could also, watching his college film, you know, he played a lot of off the ball over the guards, you know, which is an inside linebacker. So, you know, watching him do that, it's like he definitely can probably play inside also, depending on how they set it up. But I could see him, you know, if they want to try to move him, competing over there also.
We got some people chiming in about Dorian. Rob Mullen says Dorian played Edmonds' position in the 4-2-5 at Tulane at a high level, 18 tackles versus USC as MVP of that bowl game. So I am kind of excited about seeing what he'll do. I think maybe the national media kind of downplayed that pick a lot, but I think he's definitely competing for a spot and at least playing time, you know.
Yeah, and like I said, it depends on where they put him, you know, and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish. Because any good coach will look at your talent, and based off of your talent, you bring people in, basically because of what you're trying to do. And you don't just bring people in because they're, you know, a good athlete. If you got a great Mike linebacker, you build your defense around that Mike linebacker. You know, if you got a Mike linebacker who can cover, you know, especially like the run side to side, you only need four defensive linemen. You don't need the blitz. You don't need to do any of that, because that Mike linebacker is going to help you. He's going to get your back. And so it just depends on what, like we said, McDermott's plan is this year. And so, you know, if they run the 4-3 or they run that 4-2, you know.
I want to see him switch it up. I'd like to see him switch off from the 4-2-5, but that's what are you gonna do? I don't know.
But it comes down to what the offenses are giving you too. They're putting you in a lot of nickel situations.
Yeah.
You know, just like the pickup with Kincaid. I mean, that's an amazing pickup for the team where you got a tight end who's like a slot receiver.
Yeah.
You know, if you got two backs in a game, which we don't usually have it, but if you got 22 personnel in, you know, 22 personnel is just base personnel with Kincaid, because he can go out and play the slot, you know. And so teams are now thinking to themselves, oh crap, they got 22, they got big in, we got to get bigger guys in. We get a DB off the field, and next thing you know, he's out in the slot on a linebacker, you know,
Yeah.
and it gives nightmare challenges. And that's one thing. That's one of the reasons that I think, we ran that 4-2-5 is because we were, once again, Tremaine could cover side to side on the run. You don't need that extra linebacker on the outside, because he can get over there. And, so I just think that that's going to be an amazing thing to watch with the way our offense can manipulate defenses. But I think that's one reason that we were in that 4-2-5 is because we had Tremaine, because Von Miller's listed as a linebacker, but he's playing defensive end.
Yeah, he's
so we're playing a 3-3-5,
right.
basically.
Yeah. Real quick, we are, of course, part of the Buff Fan Base Network, and we're proud to be part of that network. They've treated us very well, and we're going on our second season. Also, right up here above my finger, we are sponsored by 26shirts.com as part of that partnership. And go on over there, check out all the great stuff they got going on. A t-shirt for a separate charity for a ton of people, over $1 million raised. It's great. Del Reed and the gang over there is doing great things. So go check out 26shirts.com. It is 100% worth it. Let's see. We had a question mark from Dr. Bruce, our resident doctor, Mr. Dr. Bruce, who does the injury report over at 247buffpandemonium.com. He says, Mark, do you think the delay in roster cuts in preseason will be good or bad?
I think it's good because you get to keep more guys around. So you limit your injuries and stuff like that and your workload on the players. So I think it's actually kind of good. And it gives some guys, you can make a mistake today, but you can make up for it tomorrow. So, you can have a coach on the fence about you one day where they're like, yeah, no, but then the next day you show them something. So the longer you get to go before the roster cut, the more you get seen, the more visual they have on you.
Yeah, I like that. I think, that window can close from one bad mistake, and you never know what's going to happen. They could get cut really early in that first wave, and then, turn into like a substantial stud, like as far as like special teams or anything, depth, whatever. Yep. And I think, yeah, that's an interesting take. What do you guys think about that, Scott?
I think it's going to be an interesting in the whole trading aspect of things, because sometimes when players get cut, now they're available to be picked up by someone in case you need it. But now if these guys are on the roster to the third week of the preseason, you may see managers toying with some teams saying, yeah, we're not playing them, but we're planning on keeping them on the practice squad. What do you got for us? Kind of situation. So I think we're going to probably find that there's going to be a little more trading happening in the preseason.
That's always fun. I like that. Jerry, anything?
Yeah, it's one of those things. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad from this. And I'm glad I don't have to deal with it. We'll just let Bean and crew do that. But the big thing that, like Mark said, like if you make a little glimpse of something spectacular tomorrow and it goes away for a couple days, and then instead of being cut, you're still on the team, and then you make a glimpse of something, and then you start catching the eye of a coach, and they'll be like, oh, that's that Reed kid again. He just keeps making plays every once in a while, but if we can get him toned in, this might become more consistent. So I love the idea of them keeping all these players, because they're going to give these guys a chance if they didn't shine at first sometimes it takes some kids a little bit to get used to the system and all that. And when you start getting comfortable with the players and talking to veterans and doing all this stuff with coaches, then all of a sudden it clicks, bam, and you're still there and they see you, you make the team. So I like the idea.
You got to think about these offensive guys, and you look at the offensive playbook. That offensive playbook is no joke. Mm-hmm. And even some of the defensive playbooks with the check with me's, this, that, they're not easy, and they're not the easiest thing to comprehend, even though it should be, where it should just be a stick figure with a football and a guy holding a football, and then 11 other stick figures with an arrow pointed at the football. go get the football, you know? So, but it's so complicated that it gives some of these guys extra education, extra time to learn the system, because sometimes that's what guys need, is a little extra time to learn the system. You know, think about a guy who, if they pick up in June, July, you're with the team, you're learning, but you're not doing anything. You're out on the field for 2 weeks, and then you're cut.
Yeah.
You know, that extra week to learn is so valuable.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And how often do we say about rookie quarterbacks, especially if they start their first year, automatically the second year, it's like, well, it's their second year in this system. I mean, you're putting it out there for stud first round picks, right? That they need a full year to start to get the game, get the speed of the game, get the playbook down, and you allow that to be okay. But for the undrafted free agent or for the late draft pick that kind of comes in, or whoever to fill out the 90, yeah, that's kind of a bummer, like I'm glad. I'm just glad. I think it's a good move. So
I'll leave it with this, Swank. Experience always has the advantage. So if you get someone that plays the game and has experience, he understands the system, he can just rely on his skills and his playing ability. Someone that has to learn a playbook and have to do all this, their mind is somewhere else. Sometimes they're more focused on that than actually just being themselves on the field. So anybody that comes in with experience obviously has the advantage. And if you can give people more experience throughout the preseason, that'll even up the playing field.
His name, I'm over the track. Yeah, I said it. What you need to do is get back to.
yeah, you said it. No, that was a great
did.
take. Absolutely. I love it. So in other news, last week, the schedule came out last week, right?
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, sure did. Right after our show, next day, right? 2 days earlier, whatever.
Thursday.
And Thursday. So we got this schedule right here. And we wanted to go through game by game, kind of talk about worries, concerns, high profile matchups, prime time, all that good stuff. And we want to hear your opinions in the comments as well. First game up, week 1, primetime game right out the gate. The Bills got the full allotted 6 primetime games this year. 1 o'clock games are a thing of the past, especially for the second half of the season. I think we have 1. So get comfortable in that first part of the season for the 1 o'clocks, because they gone after that. Week 1, Monday night at the New Jersey Jets. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, prime time. I mean, you can't get much better than that, right? Mark, what do you think about the NFL giving the Bills this game for the first week?
I talked about this last week too. The crazy part about it is the emotions, especially because of 9/11 and in New York. So that game will be a game of learning to control your emotions, focus on the task at hand. You know why you're there, and I know they do this, and I know they will do it. But not to get caught up in the moment. And the Jets are scary, and I said this last week. And when you look at all the divisions in the NFL, in NFL coming up for this 2023 season, I feel that the most competitive division, hands down, is the AFC East.
Yeah, I agree.
Between draft picks, trades, and stuff like that, the Jets have just jumped up. The New England, Belichick always finds a way somehow to get them going. And then, you got Miami and what they're doing. I'm like, that's going to be the toughest division in the NFL. So that first game for us is critical, because I think the Jets probably have the best part of it, just because of the teams that they're playing in those off divisions are lower than the teams that we played, because they were in last place. So, and I said, if they just split their regular season games, we have to play, I think the one team that we got that's kind of like easier, but not easy, the Commanders,
Yeah.
So you that's an easy game for us. You would look on the schedule and say, but the Jets can look on the schedule and say, oh, this should be an easy game. This should be an easy game. This should be an easy game. So now if we're playing the Eagles, okay, we're playing the Chiefs, okay, the two teams in the Super Bowl. All right. So you split those in those conferences, and then you look at the Jets and say they win their 2 games of the non-conference teams that we're playing, and we split with them. They have a better record than us.
Yeah.
They're not better than us, but they have a better record than us. So, that first game is critical in my opinion. And look at last year. We split with all of them last year. We didn't win 2 games outright against Miami or the Jets or the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the quickest way to the playoffs, right? Be number 1 in your division. So it's you got to make that statement. And what I'm hoping for with the changes and the additions that the Bills have made in this offseason, which I think still they've gone under the radar. I think it's quality. They've built a lot of quality. People forget that they don't have as far to go to tweak things. They're at the top already. There's just really minute little things they need to change to get where they need to be. So I'm looking for that statement Los Angeles Rams game that we had last year coming out the gate, setting a tone and taking what's ours and really making Aaron Rodgers wish that he would have stayed in the darkness and considered retirement. He's my big question mark for this. Jarrod, what do you think? Does Aaron Rodgers have anything left in the tank?
Well, we'll find out week 1. He's surprising. I don't think we won't find out week 1. I picked the Jets as our opening game when we did scheduling guesses 2 weeks ago. And the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking maybe this is a mistake. If we really want Allen versus Rodgers, we should have waited till week 5 to really get Rodgers at his prime, because then he's playing with these guys. He has a season kind of underway, and he's going to be not hopefully, but 100% by week 5. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he decides to show up to practice. We'll see if he decides to do the offseason stuff with players to get to know him. But it's still Aaron Rodgers, MVP of the league many times, and it's just going to be interesting to see how all this comes together. Jets were scary last year without a quarterback. They're going to be more scary this year. So I think it's probably going to be advantage Buffalo because they are playing them in week 1.
Yeah. I mean, good take about, I mean, the roster was built in Jersey before Rodgers got there. And I almost dare say, Scott, I think you and I see eye to eye on this a little bit. The wide receiver carousel that they did to make Aaron Rodgers feel more at home might have almost set him back just a little bit, as opposed to the people that they could have kept. What do you think?
I agree. They Rodgers, I thought, had a decent supporting cast last year, and his numbers decreased. His numbers fell. I think they're going to continue that way. I think he's losing a step. They brought in Lazard, McCall Hardman, Conklin, a tight end. Breece Hall comes back as a running back, they'll be pretty solid offensively. But I don't know, if he keeps declining, he's going to need more protection. And we saw what kind of protection these Jets quarterbacks got last year against the Buffalo Bills. That Milano hit's one of the biggest ones I've seen when he split the guy in half. But I thought the NFL got it right. I think New York, being a big market team, finally got themselves a big market quarterback. What a better way to celebrate that than to have a Monday Night Football game on opening week. Unfortunately, the only New York team is going to win that game. for them, unfortunately for them.
I love it. Yeah, I think that it's Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to not compete and not have good games. But I do think that you started to see the armor get a little bit weakened last year. I think you saw some of the age coming out, and maybe a lot of that had to do with the Packers and kind of them not giving him the weapons that he needed. But people have said that for a lot of years. And I look back at that list of wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers has had his whole career, and he didn't have slouches on that team. Maybe recently he had less than desirable, but Jesus, up until last season, he had Devontae Adams too. So there's people that have been around him. And I think he's going to make it work. I do agree. Hit that stride going into week 4, week 5. And when the Jets come to visit us, week 11, I think that's when you're really going to see the fireworks. So
Rodgers did have a hell of a running back behind him too.
Yeah.
So he had weapons.
Oh, he's got one
Good.
now here too, as long as he can stay
Brees.
healthy. Yeah. So
I just the thing about Aaron Rodgers, he scares me just during the regular season. During the playoffs, he sucks. Pretty much. You know, you look at his record in the playoffs and it's like their teams just don't show up. But in the regular season, you know, like you said, he's been the MVP in the regular season for a reason. And I think last year they just had some coaching. I think they had a lot of inner turmoil with things going on. And I don't think they were on the same page from coaching to players. And when you're not on that same page, it can cause those issues that they had last year. Because, you know, I'll always say this, and it doesn't matter who the number one, number two receiver is out there on the field. They're on the field for a reason.
Yeah.
And like when they say, oh, this backup quarterback can't do this, can't do that. I'm sorry. He's in the NFL. He can make that throw. Okay. He can make every throw that they need him to make. It may not be as pretty as some of the other quarterbacks, but he can make that throw. And so I just Rodgers just scares me no matter week 1 or week 5, you know, and I'm pretty sure since he's made up his mind to go there, hopefully he's been there and working and getting everything, you know, situated and communication between him and the guys, because that's going to be so critical.
absolutely. Well said. Moving on to week 2. It's a home game against the Las Vegas Raiders, a 1:00 game for all of us 1:00 game people. This game is kind of another one of those for me. I don't know. It's not quite as winnable maybe as the Commanders game week 3. But I think that the Bills should, if they are the team that we think they are, they should handle this Raiders team with a Jimmy Garoppolo, average QB. I don't know. To me, this one is going to be, it's going to be a great home opener for the Buffalo Bills, all the season ticket holders and people going to that game. You should have a great time. Don't quote me on it, but I think you should have a great time. Anything special, anything that stands out about this game, any matchups, Mark?
No, not for me. It's just that anytime there's a game in Buffalo, it's a great game, and it will be a great game. So, you know, I just think that, you know, the Raiders are rebuilding. They got some work to do, and, you know, and I think that it just will be a great game. I'd really like to see, you know, our offense be super, super productive, and see our defense come to light, and hopefully, you know, play a great game and, you know, keep it low scoring for them and prove and establish themselves and give themselves a notch.
I love it. Another AFC opponent too. Definitely huge in the standings down the line for playoff implications. Scott, anything on this game?
You asked the Bills Mafia. This is the most important game of the season, the most electric game of the season. It's the home opener. So I'll take that as it is. Statistically and on paper, the Bills should win this one handedly, but you still got to play the game.
Yep.
Every NFL team is tough. Mark said every NFL, they're in the NFL for the reason of players. There's a reason why they play the games on Sunday, any given Sunday. So it'll be exciting. I think I might be going to this one possibly.
Ooh. All right. Jerry, anything to add?
Yeah, just a home opener. It's going to be adding some excitement to the game. The offense does have a couple weapons on there that we should be watching for matchups, and we'll get more into that the week of. But the defense was on the lower end last year, so Josh Allen and that offense should roll. And I just want to add a little bit. Mark, what was it like tackling Marcus Allen? Right, that's when he knew he was in the league.
That's when I knew I was there. And tackling Marcus Allen, like I said, was one of the greatest feelings that, you know, like throughout my football career. Yeah, playing in the Super Bowl was amazing and awesome. But when you tackle one of your childhood heroes in the LA Coliseum. There is none like it. It was just so surreal. That was amazing. And then I got to do it again. I was like, oh my God, again.
That's awesome.
Did you hug him and squeeze him a little bit more? Did you let him off the field?
Wait, I had that. Where is that picture? Oh man. I have yeah. Wait, and this is what's so funny. You guys can't see it, but I actually have this is you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, it's the slide from me tackling him.
Nice.
That's
And so
awesome. Wow. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And so I found the slide on the internet, and so I ended up ordering it, and I want to get pictures sent or printed up of it and send it to Chris Hale and have Chris Hale get him to sign it for me.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I had to ask.
And I'm like, oh, I know I got that.
You get a projector just to have that projected on your wall all the time.
Trying a flashlight behind it.
The Raider versus the Bills, the second game of the season, but that brings back a little bit of that AFL. So that's a good way to start the season.
I heard some. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Is there any truth to the little rumor that I heard that Tom Brady's interested in buying the Raiders?
I haven't heard that, but
Yeah,
wow.
I heard a little leak about that today, and I was like, "What the hell?"
I've seen a whole bunch of pictures with Brady with the
With the bowl cut,
with the bowl cut,
the Davis bowl cut.
Yep.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a little tidbit, and I was like, I heard the Dolphins like rumors and all that stuff, and I know that he's not doing. He's bailing on the Fox broadcasting thing that was supposed to be hundreds of millions of dollars and whatever. So, which I'm grateful for. I just don't want to see Tom Brady on TV every week again. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I'll take a break from Tom Brady. But all right, week 3 away, 1:00, another 1:00 game against the Commanders. I like Scary Terry. I think the quarterback situation, it's got a little bit left to be desired. I think they're rebuilding. They don't want to bring Chase Young back. They didn't sign his 5th year. I see us winning this handedly. Do any of you guys have anything about Washington you want to talk about?
Ron Rivera.
Defensive front 4.
See ya.
Oh yeah, Ron Rivera.
Bye.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
He's got connections with coaching and Bean, so
yeah.
But just tough defensive front 4, so this will be a true test for our offensive line.
Sure.
Yeah, we beat him here a couple years ago, so let's go down there and beat him again.
Love it.
Starting the season off 3-0.
Oh, I like it. Oh, you're doing predictions already? Is this beer board bets?
You guys already know what I'm saying. We're going 17-0. It's easy.
All right, week 4, highly anticipated home game against the Miami Dolphins. The schedulers, I think, took a little bit of recommendation from all the vibes we were getting from last season, where we were frying in the heat down in Miami around this time last year, and then they were freezing up here in Buffalo. And as though it's fun, and I still think the Buffalo end of things, it was way easier for the Dolphins to handle than our end of things down in Miami, getting fried in the sun for 4 or 5 hours. I think it's nice to even it out a little bit. I want to see Tua versus Josh Allen in regular conditions, and I just want to see Josh Allen light him up. So what do you think, Scott? What do you got on this game?
It's an October 1st game, so it could be 90 degrees still. So we don't know if the weather is going to be much better, but at least we won't have the glaring sun on both teams. So I anticipate this game to be just like the week 3 game last year. Both teams undefeated coming into it. Big AFC East Division rival, and this will be the second team in 4 weeks that we've played an AFC East Division rival. We need to take care of these games.
Absolutely. Jerry?
Buffalo Bills are 11-2 versus the Miami Dolphins in the last 13 games. I'm looking for that to continue. If you're an odds guy and you play the numbers, then you think that Miami's going to creep in and win a couple. But I just think the Buffalo Bills are going to be on a hot streak. They're going to welcome Miami with open arms and then slam them to the ground and go 4-0.
Mark?
I I agree. I really want to see our DBs against the receivers.
Yes.
That's the matchup I really want to see. And, and hopefully we have some good defensive schemes to, hide things and confuse Tua into a couple early picks. But I just want to see us play their, Hill and Waddle really well.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have any.
Because we'll
we
have
didn't
Hyde,
any of
we'll
our
have Hyde,
starters.
we'll have Hyde back, we'll have Poyer, so our DBs, I feel real solid that they're going to have a great matchup against them.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what that defensive backfield looks like there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm hoping this second year a rookie here, he comes in and really puts it down. It'd be really nice to have him and Trey, fully confident, healed Trey, and then just go 1-2 tandem and be amazing. Since we're rolling up on it here, I think I'm going to cherry pick. I think we got to go week 5, our home game against the Jaguars in London. That's a 9:30 a.m. start, so take it easy Saturday night, Buff Pandemonium. This one interests me the most, I think, because Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. I think he got robbed out of that one season, and now he's really turning into like that quarterback that everybody thought he was going to be. And they have built a solid team around him, and I think they're a dark horse to really wreak havoc this season. So I'm biased. I think it is complete BS that they are in Europe the week before. They have 2 weeks to adjust. I got into a little Twitter argument, which I try not to do, but I did get into it with this one guy because he said that the Jaguars are at a disadvantage because they're there for 2 weeks, whereas the Bills are at an advantage because they pop in and then get to go home. And I said, that is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Their bodies have already adjusted.
Yes.
They got a game underneath their belt. They get to go to sleep. They're not going to be the Bills getting done with their game and then have to get on a plane and fly across the sea. So you being there for 2 weeks is definitely advantage for them because they already have their routine down. They already have a schedule. They already know what's going on. They know where they're going. They don't have to worry about anything. The Bills for the first couple of days are going to be trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Plain and simple. No matter, they got everything, the accommodations already set, but they're not there. But if they were there, the longer you're somewhere, the more planning and preparation you can have. When you're not there, you can't have that planning and preparation. I don't care what anyone says. They'd be better off doing everything in Buffalo and flying in before the game, playing the game, and then coming back home, just like we do during a regular week.
Yeah.
That would be more of an advantage for them. But when they have to pick up and go, not at all.
Yeah.
I'll print that clip for you, Swank, to send to that guy.
Yeah, please.
What Mark said. So
Well, it just doesn't make any sense to think that, like, you don't have to worry about where you're eating. You don't have to worry about where you're sleeping. The dumb things, the everyday things that, like, you're almost a tourist when you go there for the first couple of days. You're getting over jet lag. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where your bags are. You're sleeping, blah, 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 blah. You don't know how it feels to be there. And to think that somebody who's already been there for 2 weeks, and not to the 2-week thing, that's bad enough. This team has been going there for 10 years. And there are people in that front office that can at least kind of prepare you for what it's like if you're new to the team. But there's people on this team that have been going there every single year for the last 5 years, maybe twice a year. And you're telling me that the Bills, who go once every 5, 6, 7 years, maybe, like, this is an advantage. It's ridiculous to me. And the fact that it's a home game for the Bills and not the Jaguars, which the NFL has spent so much time and money and resources in trying to establish the Jaguars as a home team in England. And now you're going to tell me that they're getting good, and the Bills are going to go there and they're the home team. Like, it's going to be so lopsided. It's ridiculous, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Josh Allen will prevail. I'm fine with it. Scott,
I only have this to say.
Yep.
Now, Tom Brady, he's gone. So that's one plus. But when it comes to two quarterbacks in the AFC, I just have a hard time watching them be successful because I look at them sometimes. I know they're not garbage, but in my mind, they're garbage. but they get it done.
Yeah.
And that's Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. Those two, they get under my skin.
Oh,
that
wow.
I'm lucky that I don't play because I would try to hit them with every ounce of my body when I got an opportunity. Okay. And I mean that. And
I love it.
And for some reason, it's like I watch and I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to break his neck, but they're good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And they are maturing and they're getting better and better. But I have something against those two quarterbacks. So yeah, no. I hope they get demolished.
Mark, are you saying you want to Drew Bledsoe them?
Oh my God, yes.
I'm 100% with you with Burrow. I think Burrow, he is the most agitating character in the NFL right now. He's such like a pretty, I don't know. I can't deal with it. Trevor Lawrence, I think I'm on the train that he got screwed over with that whole coaching snafu that basically wasted a year of his career. And I don't know. I guess he's a little more likable. He did annoy me when he got drafted. And maybe it's my mindset where I'm like, I hate when people get overhyped to the point where you're like, you know what? Now I don't like him. He's gonna.
And Joe Burrow is coming into his own. I will say that, but he's coming into his own because of coaching, in the plays and the design. Because like I told someone, I'm like, he was absolutely garbage at LSU. He didn't do much until they started throwing little short routes here and there. I'm like, I can throw a 5-yard out, hopefully, but no, I give him credit, because he has gotten so much better as a quarterback over the last few years, especially his last year at LSU and what he's doing in the NFL. But still, it's like those two quarterbacks, I have something against them. I don't want to see them succeed, but they succeed all the time.
Yeah.
The panel agrees with you, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, look at Burrow. He's got the top 5 running back in Mixon. He's got a top 5 receiver in Jamar Chase. Jamar?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and the defense, it's always been there. Cincinnati defense has always been there. So,
oh yeah.
So coaching.
Well, you're talking running backs. You're talking T. Higgins. You're talking. There's a lot there.
T. Higgins. Yeah. Yep.
And it is who's around you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see. Ellen
Giants, baby.
Yeah. You want to go?
We're going to the Giants now? Are you?
Yeah.
Well,
what I was gonna do is everybody cherry pick one. We're getting late here, and
yeah.
So I got to do this for my boy. Here we go, folks. We're in overtime.
Oh, we're there already.
There it is, right there. Patrick Hughes calls it every week. We always go a little over. So I'm saying this is lightning round. We'll each pick a game we're looking forward to. And Mark's picking the Giants, I'm thinking.
No, it's not the Giants.
Oh,
I just thought we were going on to the next game.
Oh, you're calling it. All right, man.
My game is, don't get me wrong, it's going to be great, to see the Bills play the Chiefs again and stuff like that. But it's going to be that game after Thanksgiving against the Eagles and the Chiefs. Those are my two games. That's back-to-back versus Super Bowl champions. And the good thing about it is it's late in the season. So you should be technically where you want to be at for your season. And that's going to show what we're made of at that point in time. So those are my two games that I would pick, would be us against the Eagles, even though we're playing in Philly that has some of the worst. I won't call them the worst fans, but they are the meanest fans in the NFL. They do not like anyone or anything other than the Eagles, and they will let you know as soon as they see you. And they will not hold back.
Yep.
And we already know how we feel about the Chiefs. And of course, guess where it is again?
Yeah.
In Kansas City, so that kind of sucks, but we know we can go in there and we can win. We did it last year, earlier in the year, but now's the opportunity for us to really show where we're at coming towards the end of the season, because that's going to be so important to be tuned in, not playing games like the Commanders at that point in time,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
the Raiders. You're playing a team that is Super Bowl champs, Super Bowl runner-up. Come out, show them what you're doing, and go for it.
I love it. I love it. It's going to be a great gauge, like you're saying, that prime time part of the season. Two huge contenders that should be contenders again this season. I love it. That's a great take. Scott, what game are you looking forward to, brother?
I'm glad you came into me next because, Mark, I just wanted to remind you that Jacksonville game, you're going to have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning to watch that over in Arizona.
I'm always up early.
But I'm glad you mentioned this whole late in the season kind of top games, because it's exactly what you said. Everybody is rolling on all cylinders. This is about the time 24/7 Buffet in the Morning was putting out playoff situations, who to root for this week, who to watch this week to make sure the Bills get the best spot in the playoffs. And the bye week, a lot of people don't like this late bye week. I think it's a wonderful time to have a bye week. 12 games in a row, you got that big week. We have time to recover if we do have any of these injuries, and we have time to recover for the Kansas City game. For the Dallas game, it's going to be tough regardless. Chargers aren't no joke. Patriots, and then the end of season with Miami. I think it's a wonderful. So the game I was going to pick, Swank, was actually that 13-week bye week, because I think that's a very crucial and important part of
tricky.
this season.
Tricky. Yeah. I hate that game.
I hate that game too, but man, I'm telling you,
No,
it's
I know.
time to get things right.
Hey.
It's time to get things focused and healthy, and you'll be primed for these next 5 games.
You're right, man. I say I like the late bye. I don't know, Mark, as a player, what if there was a preference, or if it was just like it's a week off, and I'm so glad we have a week off. But to me,
No, as a player, you always want your bye later in the season.
Okay.
Because it gives you an opportunity, especially if you're a playoff contending team. You want that extra week because it gives your body time to recover. You don't mind having it, you don't mind having it later than earlier, because if you have it early in the season, you don't have an opportunity to recover. You don't get that week off, where it's so important that, say, for example, say you get it week 4, okay? You still got 13 games to play, which is almost a whole season.
Yeah.
So if you get it in week 4, you're not hurt in week 4. You're not hurt. So you start the, you're not going to take that week off. You're still going to train. You're still going to do everything. So your body's still going through all the rigorous things that go on. But when you get it at week 13, now after that game is over from week 12, you have that whole week that you may not have to practice. You may not have to do anything. You can get that full week of treatment, and then you can still start the next week with more treatment and to get better, to get the body rejuvenated, and it's great at that point in time of the year. But like you were saying about the games, our whole back half, minus the Cowboys and the Chargers, are, those last 6 games that we have, 4 of them are critical. 2 division opponents, and then 2 Super Bowl contending teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
One of the roughest schedules in the league. But still, I still hate that. I don't understand how come the Chiefs never come to Buffalo.
I don't get it. We talked about it last week on the show a little bit, and some of it is like an illusion almost, where it's like, yeah, it seems like we're always going there, but we were there, or they were here during the COVID year. So then people start to think like, oh, well, they never come here because that game didn't really feel like a real home game, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't like take away from the fact that the last 3 seasons straight, they've been, like, including this season, they've been away in Kansas City. And that's bull to me. But Jerry, what's your game, buddy? And don't say a preseason game or something tricky like your brother just did with the bye week, all right?
My game is going to be the second playoff game. No, just kidding. No, the bye week's coming at week 13, and we've all led up to this, right? So we have a game against the Jets, who might be clicking by week 11, and then the Eagles, who are the Eagles. They went to the Super Bowl last year. They're returning. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. We're going to end our first half or first part of the season with the Eagles. See, reevaluate, have that bye, come back, play the Kansas City Chiefs. See if our new system works. See if what we're going to apply for the rest of the regular season is successful. We have 5 games until the playoffs. what I'm getting to is we have a week 13 bye. If we could finish off the regular season with 5 good wins, then we'll have another bye going into the playoffs. So essentially, we could have 2 byes in 2 months. So you got to win the games leading up to it.
So what
Go ahead.
game are you looking forward to, Jarrod?
I'm looking forward to that Kansas City game after the bye because
okay.
that's when we're going to start pushing forward to the playoffs.
Jesus, where are we going here, man? If you say the
I'm
second
just- I'm
bye,
just-
the hypothetical bye before the playoffs, I'm gonna like the Reed boys just love bye weeks, man.
The late bye in week 13 could be very beneficial. More the fact that it's not only because it's a late in the season, but we could, if we are successful, have another bye in the playoffs, which will give us more rest. So
I like it. Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. That's my game.
Nice. All right. Well, for me, I am interested in seeing the Cincinnati Bengal game, Week 9. I think that that will be a mid-season gauge as well before we get into like the really rough end of the rest of the schedule. I mean, we have some tough opponents kind of leading up to that, but really these are the first premier like revenge game. We know what they've done to us here this last time. And then, I mean, the time before with the DeMar Hamlin injury, it wasn't looking like it was going our way in that game either. So I'm super interested to see how we're going to come back and, another primetime game, get into Cincinnati, another game where emotions, I'm sure, are going to be really high. And how does the offense and defense and the coaching staff deal with that? And I just want to see him put together a really solid game and come out ahead,
They have to come out aggressive, something that they didn't do against Cincinnati in the playoffs. Yes. Cincinnati beat them in the whole aggression part of it, and that's why they came up top.
Absolutely. Oh, we got people dinging us for season record predictions. I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. You guys? I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to tease that. That'll be another show coming up in this off season. That's, going to be a little late, but appreciate you anyway, Paul Rossi. Let's see. All right, guys. Here we are, 9:09. Not too bad for an overtime night. We'll run around, do some final thoughts. Mark, thank you so much for joining with us, man. We love having you on. You're a great friend of the show, great person, and hit us up with your final thoughts.
My final thoughts, and I'm bold enough to give a prediction. Yeah, I really think that we might end up. It's going to be a rough year because we got some serious teams to play this year, and the talent in the league is only getting better. On a whole team per team, and I'm predicting that we're either going to. I think I'm going to say 12-5, and I think that's going to still be enough to win the division. At 12-5, I really believe that. And that break is really going to help us go in strong in the playoffs. So I'm going to say 12-5, and just because of our schedule, because we got some stuff coming up, and I don't care about Joe Burrow.
Mark, since you're up, I do want you to mention. I know last year you did this amazing scavenger hunt thing, and it's something that you're going to do again this year.
Yes.
For those of you who want to follow Mark and his page, it's actually a group page on Facebook. It is Mafia Nation. Go look him up. But he does a ton of raffles and all that stuff. But tell the people about that scavenger hunt that you do.
Okay, so what I do is I'll post a list. It's actually this weekend. It's this Saturday. If we get actually 6 more people to join, we're going to give away a 35 by 43 inch custom frame Dawson Knox jersey. But right now we don't really have enough, and we give away more prizes than we take in. So, but I do it for the fun. Last year we did things like taking a picture on a swing, taking a picture on a slide, bonus points if you take a picture going down the slide. And yeah, last year we got a video of one lady going down the slide, and oh my, she was not expecting it to go as fast as it did. And so, and it's fun. It gets everybody out, gets us out in the community and stuff like that, interacting with other people, because I'm all about people and interacting with other people and doing things. And just getting out and being young again, being a kid or doing something that you did as a kid, you know. And this year we have another thing on there where it's something that all kids do, and even young adults do, you know, young teenagers or like the 2023, I think. But I even got a couple things on this list this year that will get you to be a little bit of a kid and have a little fun. So, but yeah, so we're having a scavenger hunt, and it's $20 to join, but you get 5 raffle tickets into a list of prizes where they're all Bills prizes. And I think I have, like, right now I have 15. And like I said, I think we need 5 or 6 more people to join. And I'll throw in the Dawson Knox custom frame jersey.
Nice.
Very cool.
Don't forget to follow the Help One Foundation also on Twitter. We had a quick thing from Patrick Hughes, Scott, Derek Swank. When is the season premiere of Sunday Sessions? Are we doing preseason or are we going to go regular season with that?
I don't know. We usually just do the regular season with that.
Okay.
And the week before is the regular season rager. So that's going to be a tough weekend to do it. So it's the premiere is going to be week 1, I believe, Monday Night Football.
I love it. I love it. Jerry, what do you got for the final thought, my friend?
Glad to be back talking football with you guys again. Mark, as always, we love having you on. The insight is just crazy. And Scott and I and Swank all looked up that Drew Bledsoe hit, and we pretty much broke him in half, and it's awesome.
Yeah, we passed it around our messenger. It's so good.
No, it wasn't cutting him in half. He cut him in half that way.
But anyway, yeah, exciting stuff. So I know it's going to be a long time of year, so just keep tuning into your favorite podcast. Hopefully one of those is the K-Gun Report, and we'll just keep talking football until the training camp comes, and any news that comes in we'll share with you guys. And go to the Facebook page. We have the Who Am I's, Did You Know's, polls, so keep up on that. We try to keep busy with everybody. Glad to be back, and everybody have a great Wednesday going into the weekend. Hopefully it gets here quick, and enjoy the weekend when it's here. Go Bills.
Oh yeah, we got a little bit of everything at 24/7 Buff Animal. You know what I mean? It just keeps you going in that lull. Scott, what do you got?
Just some future episodes to look forward to. We will have an episode with Brad Lamb coming up. We have one with Nate Turner coming up. We also have some shows that involve our early prediction offensive depth chart and our early prediction defensive depth chart. So we're going to get all those guys involved. Going to be a fun time. My final thought is, just like in life, guys, this football season, it's going to be tough. You take one day at a time. That's what the Bills are doing. They're going to take that Jets game. That's the only game that they're concerned about now. And it's going to be a long road. Like Mark said, we can be anywhere between 9-8 and 13-4. It's a tough schedule. Barring any injury, barring any setbacks, it's going to be a fun one to watch this year. And we preach it all the time. One game at a time. It's a good way to live.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, guys, thanks again to the Fandemonium for showing up, and all the comments and love and support. And you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. And don't forget to please follow and support Buff Fan Base. They've been amazing to us. And also 26shirts.com right here. Go check out what Del Reed and the gang's got going on. It's always something good. Mark, thank you so much for hanging out with us again. We love talking with you. And hey, guys, that's it. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
This is a dangerous group.